The compact SUV market is packed with options to choose from, and while the Volvo XC40 is a very popular choice in the US, the Lexus NX is just less known even if it has a lot to offer that might just surprise many that don't even consider it. So is it worth swinging by a Lexus dealership for a test drive, or should you just go right ahead and get the new XC40? Well, that's exactly what we'll find out by the end of this video. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. The 2026 Volvo XC40's boxy design is arguably one of the most attractive to look at in the entire segment. The front fascia remains largely unchanged, save for a new grille with vertical chrome accents, while the new LED headlamps now feature a sharper Thor's hammer DRL motif. I mean, it's incredible. Volvo's designs just have a way of never looking old or going out of style. The side profile is very upright and SUV-like, especially compared to the NX, but design-wise, there is not much going on to really point out, but again, it's just that nice minimalist Swedish look. Around back, Volvo's signature LED taillights extend vertically along the rear pillars, the tailgate is handsomely sculpted with the Volvo word marks in front and center, while the integrated spoiler adds a hint of sportiness. The Lexus NX, on the other hand, takes a different approach to how an SUV should look. For one, it's significantly longer than the XC40, 9 inches to be exact, which makes it look even more imposing. The front fascia is more aggressive, with the signature Lexus grille dominated at the front end. The headlights use a triple LED setup on the luxury trim and above, while the side intakes just below round out a real aggressive front end. The silhouette is more laid back compared to the Volvo, giving it the illusion of the XC40 being higher, but here is the wild part. The NX is actually higher by almost an inch in overall height. Out back, even with a massive LED light bar lining the rear end with the Lexus word mark stretched across it, it feels less imposing and more compact than the Volvo. And the lower portion of the bumper is just a massive piece of black plastic with fake exhaust outlines. Overall, while the Lexus is interesting to look at, Volvo's minimalist Swedish design is still the one to beat in this segment. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button. Jumping inside, the XC40's cabin is as Swedish as it gets. It boasts a premium look with the materials to match, resulting in a vibe that few of its competitors can match. The padded and stitched leather on the doors, armrests, and center console are nice to touch, as is the alloy trim on the air vents that seems to stick out from within the dash. Fewer, however, fancier touches like the aluminum trim are absent on lower trim levels, but the overall interior ambiance remains more premium and stylish than many of its rivals. One downside, however, but it's just like every other car today, climate controls are managed through the touchscreen. When it comes to infotainment, there are two digital displays, a 12.3-inch gauge cluster screen and a 9-inch touchscreen in the center of the dash that controls just about everything. A few more physical buttons and knobs would be great, but the touchscreen is responsive enough, and the Android OS-based interface will be familiar to anyone who has used a smartphone. Some of the on-screen buttons, however, are too small, as the Volvo forgot to scale them up from phone size. The digital gauge cluster can also be a bit cryptic, but it serves its purpose well. The NX's cabin, on the other hand, is eons better than it was, and even outshines that of the XC40 in many places. The dashboard adopts a more traditional design with a flatter look that seamlessly connects with the door panels. It looks a bit boring, however, compared to the Volvo, but it's by no means ugly. A clearer console design with a smaller shifter and no more trackpad makes things feel less cluttered, while ditching most of the ancient buttons for a large touchscreen with actual knobs for volume and climate controls. Where the Lexus is a notch above the XC40, however, is in material quality. There is a rich strip of padded leather that supports the center stack and then bleeds down into the sides of the center console, and even genuine black open-pore wood trims on the doors. It's just a better feeling cabin overall. As for infotainment, sitting in the middle of the dash is a large touchscreen running the latest Lexus interface system. Standard on the base and premium trim is a 9.8-inch touchscreen, but the rest of the trims run on a massive 14-inch display. Rotary dials on either side handle climate duties, with a smaller dial below the screen for volume. The interface itself is easy to use with standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The gauge cluster, however, is far less advanced than the Volvo's, showing only the speedometer with limited customizability. When it comes to passenger cargo space, the XC40 has adequate space inside for 4 occupants to ride around, and both seats front and back are supremely comfortable. The backseat, however, is a little small for large adults, but that comes with the territory for most in this segment. The XC40 falls into the smallest subcompact luxury crossover category, where it faces both smaller and larger rivals. As for cargo, it offers a pretty small 16 cubic feet behind the second row. With them folded flat, space increases to a pretty decent 57.5 cubic feet. On the other hand, although the NX is bigger than the XC40, they are virtually identical inside. Lexus makes some great seats, and these handsome leather buckets fit the driver and front passengers like a glove thanks to excellent power adjustability in addition to ample head and legroom. Rear seat passengers enjoy slightly increased headroom at 39 inches, but legroom is just as limited in the XC40, which is mainly due to their identical wheelbases. Cargo space is a mixed bag, with a bigger 22.7 cubes with the rear seats up. Fold them down and you get a smaller 46.9 cubic feet compared to the Volvo. As far as pricing goes, the XC40 starts at $41,300 for the two-wheel drive core model. The Plus trim, however, at $45,300 is the one to get. It comes standard with a panoramic moonroof, 19-inch alloy wheels, power and heated front seats, and high-performance audio system. The top Ultimate trim goes for $52,500. Shopping for the NX, on the other hand, is a bit more complicated. It starts at a steeper $46,500 and can get quite expensive. The 350h Premium, however, is the one to go for, and it comes standard with a 9.8-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, heated and ventilated front seats, power moonroof, and 18-inch wheels. I would recommend that you add the 14-inch display with ambient lighting for $1,200 and the heated steering wheel package for $150. Now, while the XC40 seems cheaper to start, it also has less options. If you spec them option for option, then the price difference becomes quite negligible. When it comes to driving and handling, the XC40 brings back the entry-level B4 engine, making a healthy 194 horsepower and 221 pound-feet. For an extra $3,400, the B5 model puts out 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque with all-wheel drive. The 8-speed automatic transmission provides the power cleanly without any hiccups or hesitation. It's a shame, however, that Volvo's shifter takes a double tap when shifting from reverse to drive. It really never fails to make three-point turns feel awkward. The steering wheel is expectedly light, yet accurate, pointing it towards a title corner at speed, and the body leans in, reminding you this isn't a Polestar model. There are the requisite selectable drive modes on board, but they just don't suit it. Instead, leave it in regular mode and enjoy the comfortable ride. It mainly feels in its element on gentle curves at highway speeds, where there is less wind noise than you'd expect given its boxy shape. As far as premium crossovers go, the Lexus NX is middling in the performance department. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder hybrid engine pumps out a combined 240 horsepower, with the engine providing 167 pound-feet of torque. An electric motor on the rear axle gives the NX all-wheel drive. The NX hybrid isn't quick, agile, or much of anything exciting, but it is pleasant enough to pedal around town in. The steering is lightweight, the suspension is plush, and the brakes are perfectly compliant. If you want more fun, the non-hybrid F-Sport has extra power and adaptive drive modes that notch things up a bit, or there is a plug-in hybrid option with even more power. Again, the 350h hybrid powertrain is quiet and smooth in traffic and highway cruising, but a bit sluggish when asked to make high-speed passes or accelerate up a hill. Let me put it this way. The XC40 feels light and easy and very comfortable around town. It soaks bumps very well, but at higher speeds, you start to notice a bit more of road and wind noise creeping in. The NX 350h, though, feels more refined overall. It's quieter, smoother, and the hybrid system makes everything feel more relaxed, especially in traffic. It also has a clear edge in fuel economy, getting an incredible 39 mpg combined against the XC40's decent 27. So which one should you get? Well, this is a tough one. The XC40 is really good in just about every way, but I have to give it to the Lexus NX since it just feels more polished, it's far more efficient, and just easier to live with in day-to-day life.